I think yes, we are live now. Uh, yeah. Hello everyone. Welcome to the third episode of Tech Talks with Santosh, and we have a very special guest today, Martina Kraus. So Martina is from Germany, and she is one of the Google developer expert for Angular, and she is also part of NG Girls, right, Martina? So,
Yes,
and
exactly.
yeah, and she also plays basketball for fun. So, and I was lucky to meet Martina like 5 months ago, and everything like what's happening right after that. I
Yeah,
just cannot believe that we just met like 5 months ago in India, and now
right.
even I cannot travel outside my home. So
Yeah,
that's that's what's has been changed in last 6 months, but yeah, that's part of life, right? And today we are going to discuss about very interesting topic, because I used to get these questions a lot. I mean, how to start freelancing. I am not into freelancing. I just but of course people had questions, right? So how you can start freelancing, how you can do that. And then I decided to connect with Martina. So Martina was like, yes, I am available and we can discuss about it. So that's really great of you, Martina. Anything you want to tell?
yeah. Thank you so much. It's an honor for me to be invited in your great show. And it's really great that you started this podcast. First of all, it's really, really great. It's also always good to share your knowledge, and I really
Mhm.
love to tell my experience. I'm freelancing now from last
Mhm.
December on, so it's not like really that long. But I did already a lot of experiences, and I really like to share and answer all your questions, whatever you like to hear.
Yeah. Thank you. So we as we said already, we have like 5 questions from people from the internet, and of course we will have some live stream questions. Okay, so let's get started. So okay, so the first question which people do ask me, how to start freelancing. So what's your take on this?
Yeah, this is basically the main question. And I have
Exactly.
to admit, I was so scared about like just quitting the job, having nothing, and then let's see how it goes. So basically, what I did, find a mentor.
Hmm.
It applies actually to basically everything. And I had the luck that I had a really good long term friend of mine. His name is Johannes Hoppe. He is
Oh.
also from Germany and also a Google developer expert. And Santosh, you know him,
Mm.
of course, as well, quite
Yeah.
good as well. He asked me like already like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, Martina, why don't you do freelancing? Just it's so good, trust me. And I was so scared. I was always in my mind, no, the safety, I just the income. I don't have a income every single month, like, and I was really scared about that. So I asked him, do I need to do? What kind of things I need to consider? Because you need to write bills, and if you write bills for customers outside of your own country, you need to really think about the value added tax. It's different from
Yeah.
in each country. And basically, like, this is the first thing to do. You can find a mentor, and you can write me, by the way, afterwards as well. I can try to mentor you and help you as well. Find a mentor where you can get all your questions asked and answered, and especially when it comes to taxes, especially when it comes to third-party insurance and all the health
Hmm.
insurance. These are
Hmm.
the three main points actually, because the tax system is different from each country, and
Yeah.
maybe in Germany it's really, really, really different because we have a lot of paperwork. So you need to consider so incredible many things, and you really have to dig deep into, okay, if I pay for this thing, I need to get a bill because I need to put this bill later to a financial ministry, and I
Hmm.
have to do my tax works every single month. And you just
Hmm.
find a person that is who knows all about you have to pay this person, of course, but like a lawyer for taxes, and
Hmm.
you can go to this lawyer and ask, okay, what can I do? Like how to write the bills, when to write the bills, and which exact
Hmm.
words I need to write inside these bills. This is the main thing. And if you are really, and I've really prepared myself for that. And
Hmm.
then I just didn't quit just my job. It wasn't like, okay, I just quit my job and have nothing. So I
Okay.
had a really, really great luck that there was an old friend of mine. He wrote me, Martina, we having an Angular application, but this is not like, it doesn't feel really good. You're experienced in Angular. Can you help us? So I got a contract actually for freelancing for a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the moment actually when I said, okay, if not right now, then never. And I quit my job
Mm-hmm.
and I signed this contract, this freelancing contract, and then I just started, and it was way, way easier than expected. Just prepare yourself, get all the information you need, and really don't just quit your job. It's always better to have already maybe a contract, or like have
Mm-hmm.
a safe position where you can be as a freelancer. Maybe not like just for 2 or 3 months, because that's then
Mm-hmm.
too fast and too early for searching for other projects. And if you don't then get a project, it's really maybe like the first project should has a long, long lifetime, maybe like 1 year or
Mm-hmm.
even longer. So
Okay.
you really know, okay, for the next year, I can get into freelancing. I can get to know how to deal with all the taxes and all the other things around, and
Mm-hmm.
then maybe you can start having shorter term projects and having more changing things in your life.
Yeah, that's really great. I mean, one thing I would say, I mean, you have a really great mentor. I mean, I know Johannes, and he has actually helped me a lot whenever I go mad on Twitter or
Yeah.
any social media platform. He's the first one to tell me, "Dude, you are wrong. Just delete this." So I think you started with a great guy.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So Dipali had similar question. I want to start freelancing for international client. When I go back to India, please suggest. So I think Dipali, this is what Martina discussed about. That you can start with a 1 year contract, maybe just get to know how taxes works in different countries. Get some lawyer maybe who can just tell you about all this, maybe, or maybe someone from taxation department, or some tax guy who knows everything about it, and then you can start. And as she said, don't start with small clients early. uh, First contract, just look for a long term contract where you can have safety, that you at least don't have to look anything for a year. So that's what she discussed about.
And
And
I'd
yeah.
like to, yes, Germany love their paperwork. That's absolutely. And I just want to add one other thing. Know your value. You of course,
uh,
like, having like, of course, you get clients and they will ask you, okay, how much money do you want per hour? And you need to calculate it through. Like you can't just say, okay, maybe I earned when I worked at the employee, then they paid me, let's say, I just can say it in euros, times 80, it's
mhm,
rupees. But let's say it was like 50 euros per hour. And you
mhm.
can't use exactly this amount for the freelancing working hour,
Okay.
because you need to consider that you need holidays as well. You need holidays. What if you're sick? You will not get paid money
Yeah.
like if you are sick or you want holidays. So you need to add a little bit more money to the working
Hmm.
hours that you want to get paid for your client. So and don't get too low. I mean, like I can say
Hmm.
it from Germany. In Germany, the perspective, like everything from starting from 75 euros per hour is good, up to
Hmm.
100 euros, but you can even
Hmm.
ask for more. But don't just think, okay, I'm maybe from India, and of
Hmm.
course, when I'm living in India, many people may be coming to me and just give them a few hundred, 100 rupees because he's living in India. No, you're
Hmm.
good. So you can definitely ask for more, even though maybe the life cost in your surrounding
Hmm.
place are really, really cheap. No, you can ask for the money you deserve, definitely.
Ah, that's a really great point, because of course, don't never underestimate yourself. I mean, if you go to freelancing, there are things like, for example, you won't be getting paid for your insurance, you don't be won't be
Yeah.
getting for your sick leaves, and a lot of things, right? You get in India, you get something called as PF. so you won't be getting all those. So whenever you are going to or moving to freelancing, just think about all these factors as well, that okay, these are the things which I won't be getting it more anymore. So I think you should keep your rate as per that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we know how to start freelancing now, but what are the ways to get projects? So is there any platforms, or you just it's like word from someone else's mouth? So how it starts?
So basically, so there are platforms like freelancer.com,
Mm-hmm.
and like I googled a little bit around and I registered myself. And there's
Mm-hmm.
also, especially I'm an Angular developer, so there is a platform Angular Jobs. So I
Mm-hmm.
always got every single day an email for remote positions, for example, or like positions on site, maybe in San Francisco or something like that. If I maybe thought thinking of moving there, and so I could directly apply and ask, okay, to like having an interview over there. But what helped me actually the most is the community. To be real honest, the Angular community is so great.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I never tweeted, but when like for example other friends of mine tweeted, "Oh, I'm free from March on," maybe
Mm-hmm.
retweets are appreciated, and then I
Yeah.
know that like it's like a snowball effect. Like so many retweeted this tweet, and like
Mm-hmm.
immediately he got a job offer. And as well, I'm into a couple of Slack workspaces
Okay.
about Angular. Like basically, I'm in 15 Angular Slack workspaces, and there's always like something like a jobs channel, and like every other week there's at least five open positions for freelancing, and this is really great. I mean, not always just Angular, always like React or Svelte, or
Mm-hmm.
like even like C Sharp and Android and things like that. But I guess this I did these typical platforms on the internet like freelancer.com. They didn't really
Mm-hmm.
help me that much, to be honest.
Okay.
It was
Mm-hmm.
more the community and the connections I had already before, like this whole Slack workspaces, actually, or like on Twitter. This is and you can always like ask, like Santosh or me or other Google developer experts, I guess as well. They always know someone who knows someone, and especially, I mean, I'm not just referring to Google developer expert. Like every person who is a freelancer knows already many other projects. Or like I
Yeah.
have another friend of mine, Web Dave. He actually
Mm-hmm.
like got me once a freelancer position in the north of Germany as well. Like he said, "Oh, I'm so booked out of my capacity. Martina, do
Mm-hmm.
you have still capacity left? There's a customer in the north of Germany. Can you help me out?" And I said, "Yeah, okay. I have a little bit free, so yes, I can take this." And it's
Okay.
really the community is really great on that.
Uh, I mean, of course, I agree with that. So, because when I wanted to switch my last job, this is how got my position as well. So, someone from the community just came to me and asked. I mean, maybe Serkan is maybe live, but you know Serkan, right? So he's also from Germany. So he asked me if I want to work with him, and then this is how my next job landed, right? So yeah, that's really good. I mean, you should have a good connection in the community. So get involved in case you are already not. So, and I think there is a question from Lars. So he's saying, have you tried a freelance agency?
Me personally, I never tried it actually. Maybe it just sounds good to me. I think you should try it.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I had already like a couple of opportunities, so I never asked myself a question. Oh, maybe I should try a freelance agency. So I never got to this point. But I think this is a great suggestion, Lars. And maybe for starters who aren't that much into community or aren't that much into all these connections in Slack workspaces, I guess it's a great suggestion to go over there.
Okay. So now, once you get projects, so I've heard from a lot of people. So they have some bad experiences that maybe client never paid, or client was like too pushy to do the things, and then it never worked out, and they just parted ways. So how you handle those concerns when you look for a freelancing job?
So basically, I always ask for a contract. like a definite
Mm-hmm.
contract where really explicit it is written down when I will get my money paid. And I have insurance who will take care of this if like I have a lawyer insurance. I pay every single month a little bit money to it, but who will take care of this with a lawyer if my
Mm-hmm.
client is not paying me like it's written down in the contract? I mean, we Germans, we love lawyers, we love papers, and we love that everything is really written down. So, but it helps. I basically, in this case, it really helps a lot. But I
Mm-hmm.
had once, like in the beginning as well, I had a client and he was
Mm-hmm.
really pushy, but basically
Mm-hmm.
because of a bad experience on a previous freelancer. So
Mm-hmm.
he really didn't do his job like expected. So that
Mm-hmm.
it was really like asking me like when I said, okay, I think like tonight I will push my code and I think I will be finished. And if in the next morning, if I didn't push it, he immediately called me and asked me, okay, Martina,
Mm-hmm.
yesterday you said you will push your code and it's not I don't see anything on the branch. And I was like, yes, and I wanted to say in the daily stand-up that I had a problem and so on and so forth. So it was really like basically like in the I'm a really communication is the key always like so I told him, okay, I'm sorry, I can't work with you like that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so either we starting to trust each other, or we starting to communicate more. So we introduced a couple of more meetings, and I talked a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more. It was remotely as well. So, and we introduced a chat, like a chat system, a Slack workspace as well, where I can write many times inside the Slack workspace to tell really what I'm working right now on. And
Okay.
it didn't get better actually. And in the long run I just said, okay, I'm sorry, this is like a toxic environment for me. I will just
Mm-hmm.
go. I mean, I will just quit. And yes, a freelancer a little bit easier to just go.
Yeah.
But I think like you have to everything that where you feel uncomfortable, don't think that you need to stay into this. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, of course you if you don't have another position or another opportunity, you can jump right into it. It's of course it's not that easy, but
Yeah.
maybe if you always keep your eyes open, you maybe recognize that there people are searching for developers so much, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe it means you need to do a project that isn't that interesting like the ones you did before, but everything is better than staying in a toxic environment.
Mm-hmm.
Everything like even though it's a boring project for maybe you have to do 3 months, but it's better than destroying yourself because a bad customer is always like too pushy and so on. You don't need to go through any kind of things that the toxic persons try to load on you. Never.
That's great advice. I think. Uh, I mean, I've seen this. This is from both the sides. I think sometime client had some bad experience maybe with previous freelancers, and they never delivered something, or they delivered something in very bad state, which is not as per the expectation, and it works really pathetic way. So
Hmm.
they also have bad experience, but at some time you have to at least try to trust each other, right? So
Yeah.
if you're and that can be done only in case you are into constant communication. So it's not like you're not telling him what's happening for a day, or maybe what you're going to do this week, and then you are just working in a silo, rather than just talk to him, right? So if you're not able to complete something today, maybe tell him why, or what happened, what went wrong. Sometimes it happens, right? You are working in a team, and team is sitting right around the world, and you get some issues, right? When you took latest, there are some build which got failed because some developer pushed something else. So I think those concerns should be spoken regularly, so everyone knows what's going on, rather than just sitting in two different countries and wondering what's going on. So yeah, that's really
Yes.
important.
And never think like, okay, you're booked like the expert. That's why I should not admit that I did a mistake, or that's why I should not admit that I have an issue and I need help. Because the longer you wait for asking for help or asking for
Mhm.
some information, because maybe it's completely correct and right. You can't know these things because you
Exactly.
didn't get the information right. So
Yeah.
just I'm a really straight communicator, basically.
Mm.
I try to solve things immediately, directly by just telling them out. It sometimes people feel offended by that, but it's just
Yeah.
like, it's better than just like keeping shy and being so backwards and always keeping things on your own.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, so I think we have some questions. Let's take them one by one. So Dipali has a question. I think you can read it out.
Yes.
You can say
Can
that
I
from here.
start? Can I start freelancing while working as a full-time employee with another company? Basically, that's what I did. Like the last months before I completely moved to freelancing, I had 10 hours per week freelancing job and still my
Hmm.
full-time work. But it was clear that I can't do it like completely the whole time in parallel. What I thought in the beginning, what I might do is like having my full-time employee job to half-time, moving that to half-time, just like for 50%, that I have a safe fixed income every single month,
Hmm.
but trying to fulfill then the other 50% with freelancing jobs. That's what I first thought, but I guess like from the experience I made, I guess in the long run it's better to just have the one or the other, because it's too much like parallel thinking. It's like, okay, now Monday, Tuesday I might need to work for my employee job, and then Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, I need to work from my freelancing job, and things are really get mixed up a lot of times. I also had a short moment where I did two projects in parallel, freelancing projects, and it didn't work out, and not at all. And I mean, like in Germany, we need to have a contract like working for 40 hours a week, so 8 hours a day.
Hmm.
And you are not that fresh after 8 hours of working to really being focused now 3 hours more for your freelancing.
Yeah.
It looks good in the first moment, and I did this thinking. I had this thinking as well, but it doesn't work out. And you need to think about your health and your free time as well. Take
Exactly.
don't do that much. Just like focus on your health as well. Work as much as you need, because for your money and that you have a good life, but never do more than that, because you have a family, you have friends, and they always maybe should have a higher priority than
Mm.
your job.
Yeah, that's really great advice. So never travel in two boats. That's what I believe in. So try to focus on one thing. You will be able to do it better. Maybe if you try to do both the things, maybe someone will have bad experience. Either your full-time employee or the other company where you are doing freelancing, and of course it will impact you as well, because once you fail, right, it impacts you personally, and
Yeah.
then eventually it impacts your personal health as well. So make sure that you whatever you're doing, you are not impacting your health. That's really important.
Yes.
uh, so okay, so now I think we have next question from Ajay, and I think this is very related to what we are going to talk about next. So his question is, how do you verify the company and people's are genuine? And this is, I think, somehow related to how to tackle bad customers as well. So how you do
Yeah.
that?
So basically, I Googled them. No, I just like completely tried to get all informations I know from this company and the people over there. Before, like maybe like another person I know already worked there as a freelancer, or maybe or is working as an employee on this company. And you always have the possibility to, let's say, have something like a testing working week inside this company.
Hmm.
I never personally did it, but I have a freelancer friend as well who's doing that regularly. Like he's saying, okay, we can try a week with like maybe half of the money I would ask, but I just want to have this testing week and see how you're working and see how you are dealing with maybe conflicts and stress and everything. So he's there for a week and just observing things and observing like the whole project or the product or the code base and everything, and then he's making the decision basically. A friend of mine is, and there's nothing bad in then saying, okay, I'm sorry, your company or the people or how you work doesn't align with my values, so no,
Hmm.
I no, so it's just a no. And And yes, and for me, I try to get the attitude like if it's not a strong yes, it's a no. And this really helped me right now a lot. Like to always ask yourself, do I really? What does it really feel good? And if it's a strong yes, then do it. If not, then just you don't have. No one forces you into something, so then just leave it.
Ah, that's good advice. I think. So you're saying basically, let's. So you can just ask that. Let's try for a week. That
Yeah.
so planning, working on some small task maybe, and then see how the environment is. And this is how you can verify, right? If he is the client is lot like pushy, he's pushing a lot. Then that's a red flag. You should back
Yes.
out as soon as possible. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I think next question is from Lars. So are most of your jobs about developing, advising, or both?
So I basically like I have right now one project and I'm working actually full time in this project, like for 40 hours. And I have both kind of like I'm basically developing. I was
Mm-hmm.
hired as a just developer, but in the meantime, I moved a lot to like an advisor and consultant. And even, and this is like a little fun point, even like for a Scrum Master, like I'm observing their sprint plannings and observing their meetings and telling them, no, this is not right. We should like, and I'm doing a lot of meetings where I am the moderator and the consultant for Scrum processes. And this is really a lot of fun on me. But I guess most of my jobs are developing. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'm even like a little bit going into the consultant as well.
That's great. Okay. Okay. Let's move on. I think there is another question from Rajat. So let's take that. If I'm at beginner level, should I start freelancing or wait till I become a pro? So what's your advice here? I think.
First of all, I think there's no such thing like a pro because we always need to learn. Like everyone
Exactly.
always needs to learn. There's of course you always think like, oh my gosh, like the Google developer experts, they're so experts and they're so and I know that I don't know anything about so many things in Angular. And there are so many other persons who are much like last year in the comments. He's way more deeper in so many things that I am, and so there's no such thing like a pro. Everyone has to learn.
Exactly.
Additionally, I do think that, of course, if you don't know anything about programming, it's maybe difficult to start freelancing as a programmer. But on the other side, I would always just suggest you maybe your experience in one of the frameworks, maybe your experience in the back end like C Sharp, .NET Core or something like that, or Blazor or whatever. And maybe you're just looking for these kind of freelancer jobs in a technology you really feel comfortable, and then just why not just apply for it? I mean, the worst thing that you can get is a person who tells you, maybe you should get a little bit more experience in this technology or programming,
Mhm.
and then you can work on something. And this feedback is also really valuable that you get then. But just do it. It sounds so easy, but just do it. The most bad thing that can happen is that you get a no, and this is not bad because you can
Yeah.
also always ask for why did I get a no, and then maybe hopefully they're
Mm.
telling you we would like that you have a little bit more knowledge, and then you have something specific you can work on.
Yep. Exactly.
Just do it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I do agree. So I think a pro is someone who never quit, right? So if you think that you are not up to mark, of course, go ahead and try it out. Go ahead and improve yourself, and but never give up. That's what
Yes.
I mean. Martina said as well as I would agree to that never give up. Keep improving yourself, and one day you will be pro for sure.
And fail early, fail often.
Yeah, exactly. Fail often, fail fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, again, next question is, of course, there are a lot of freelancers, right? I mean, it's not like that market is not crowded. So, how you stay away from the crowd? So, how you get recognized, and then you can get your work easily, maybe.
Yeah, so basically what I do is like getting out, like getting to a lot of meetups, getting
Mm.
involved because so on these meetups there are a lot of persons who of course want to exchange their knowledge and there are a lot
Mm-hmm.
of persons guys who are working, of course, in a company, and then maybe they get to their bosses and saying, "Hey, I met a great person on this meetup. He has a lot of knowledge in this technology. So maybe we can involve her or him a little bit more to our company, and maybe we can ask." So I actually like just or writing blog posts, like being a little bit visible in this specific technology sector, like being visible, sharing your knowledge. Because if you don't know, if you never talk about Angular in a meetup or on a conference or whatever, no one knows that you know Angular.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit unfortunate that our world is working like that, because I know also a lot of great person who are introverts and too shy to go out. But it's also we always, but maybe they can go more in like this freelancing agency. But it's also good. Try to write blog posts. Try to show the world that you know this technology. Because on the other side as well, there are so many persons who are sharing their knowledge on conferences. And if you have a conversation with them, you recognize they don't actually really have this knowledge. But this is another point. So just go on conferences. And even though you don't give a talk over there, but go to conferences, because then you can interact with a lot of persons, and you can discuss some technologies and share as well that you show that you know a specific kind of technology.
Yeah, I would agree to that. So going to conferences, speaking, writing blog posts, they really help you stand out, because whenever someone Googles about you or tries to search about you, there are a lot of contents which are already available which you have written, right? So
Yeah, right.
it shows that you are already doing something, and you are constantly into that technology. You are still writing about it. You are sharing knowledge, and Serkan is here, so. Uh, this is how actually Serkan got me into working with him. So do that. I mean, going to meetups now. A lot of meetups are online. Of course, we cannot meet in person, but still, I mean, you have Twitter to connect with the people. You have LinkedIn to connect with the people. So do that. I mean, but create a connection.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because me and myself, I always think like, okay, another person already wrote about Firebase, Angular material, or whatever, but you always like yourself, you always explain it in a different way than maybe the other person, and maybe there are persons out there who understand your way of writing way more than maybe another. So it's also always good to just even though it's the same content, I'm not talking about copy pasting. I'm talking about explaining it. Maybe have a little side project and just explaining it how you implemented it.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so Lars has something to add. So he's saying, well, I'm a contractor too, just not freelance. Thanks, Martina. You are an inspiration. Agree to that. Being true to your values. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Les.
Yeah.
It's also you also do a great work to the community.
Yeah. And he's saying the community secrets being spilled here. We are really sorry for that. Okay, so let's take some questions which we had received from internet. So take both. I mean, most of them are something which we have already discussed about. So the first question is from Jamil. So Jamil had a question that, can we find out clients without using freelancing platforms like Fiverr, Upwork? If yes, then what strategy we should adopt to require more clients? I think this is something which we already discussed about, Jamil. So in case you are online or you see this video later on, you might have heard that being into the community, or trying to be active on blog posts, write blog posts, be active on Twitter, they really help. Try to have a mentor. That's really important. That's what Martina added when we started. So these are some strategies which can help you. Okay, so the next question is from Krishnan. Sorry, I answered the first question, but really sorry. I mean,
I just
that
wanted
was
to
already.
and if you watch this video later on, you can also always, if you haven't answered your question properly, you can also always reach out to me. My DMs are always open.
Yeah, sure. I'll share the Twitter handle of Martina and his LinkedIn link, so you can always connect with him, with her. Sorry. So the next question is from Krishnan. So he has like multiple questions. How to get started in the area of freelancing? So That's what we discuss about, that we can have a mentor who can guide you, and which is the best platform. As Martina said, there is no best platform to use, but of course your connection can help you get some really good project. The next question I think I think we need to discuss which tech stack has the maximum requirement in freelancing area. So anything you noticed?
I guess it's like, I guess like, okay, I'm really biased because when I'm searching for Angular positions, of course, and there are so many out there who are searching for Angular positions, and I guess it's like Angular and the .NET Core text tech stack. And but what I also like, that the state of front end just got released, and that there I saw that like the main framework still using is like React. Like I guess
Okay.
React has the much requirement right now, like
Okay.
the much demand out there. And I guess like in the backend it's definitely C Sharp.
Okay.
And especially right now, Blazor. Like I got a lot of questions if I can have maybe like an open position for like a Blazor position that I can get in Blazor. It's not my tech stack, but like a lot of persons asking actually like C Sharp and bringing C Sharp to the front end with Blazor right now.
Okay. I mean, this is something which we discussed about in our last talk. But I think Blazor is still improving, right? So it's really new, and it will take some time, maybe. Uh,
Yeah.
any advice? The next question is, any advice of where we can connect with people who outsource projects to single multiple people who can then work as a team? I think, this is his question is related to, maybe there are some people who already have the project, for example, and he's giving the projects to other people. So, is there any way to reach out to them?
Actually, there is. I mean, like, this is the main concept of freelancer.com. Like
Okay.
there's like a couple of these platforms where persons who having projects try. It's like a Tinder for freelancer and people who wants to have a freelancer position, so they can match somehow. And there are a couple
Okay.
of these platforms actually out there. But as well, like from the perspective that I have a project and I'm searching for freelancers, I also would just suggest actually like using some of these like Slack workspaces, or just this freelancer.com where you can register yourself, and then you can just LinkedIn is also quite good. But me personally, I'm not feeling that comfortable of like when someone is just writing me on LinkedIn and say, hey, I saw that like 15 years ago you did PHP. So maybe you are open for position in PHP. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, no, wait, just so I'm a little bit maybe like having like I'm not that really good like in getting LinkedIn demands, but some are really nice and friendly as well. And I guess like being really active and registered in some of the social platforms really helps a lot as well.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay. So there is some comment from Serkan. So meanwhile, you can read it, and I will move to another question.
Thank you so much. I remember you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and there is one from Lars. Okay, so the next question is from Aditya Tyagi. So his question is, what should be the pricing strategy for both long-term projects and short-term projects? So how you will charge your clients?
To be honest, like I on this point I don't make a difference, because my time has the same value for long-term project than a short-term project. There's just one difference between if I'm on-site or remote. Like, of course, like on-site, the time is a little bit more, let's say, valuable. Plus, I include the whole train or card fuel costs inside my working hour when I'm on-site. Like, I mean, luckily right now I'm working for a customer who is really close to me. So I drive like every single day to my customer. But no, I demand more money per hour if I'm on site than when I'm just staying at home and I don't need to drive my car to the customer. So this is the only difference I make. I'm not making a difference between long and short-term projects actually.
I think Rishi has the same question. I think it is already answered. This is somehow we got the same question from internet, so we already covered it. So let's move on to the next question, which is from Vikas. So Vikas Srivastav is saying, which website are the best places to for finding projects? How does one know if the client is genuine? So I think Vikas, we already had a discussion about all these questions. You can go through the recording once, and then you will be able to find out. And let's move on to next and last question, which is from Prakash. How to combine multiple modules into one app? I think this is more of a okay. I think this is more of an Angular question somehow. Uh, but of course, we have a Google developer expert here, so we can take it. Okay, so Prakash has a question: how to combine multiple modules to one app? If suppose 20 people are working on different modules, how they can release independent their modules to prod for same application without releasing whole application? Kind of plugin based approach, but looks like it's very complex to achieve. So, any thoughts, Martina, on this?
I mean, I always like would suggest on that case, like using micro front ends and a
Yeah.
monorepo, like a monorepo, basically
Mhm.
where you have all your modules or libraries, applications like in one repo, and all the developers can work completely independently, just on their own library or just on their own application. And then in the end, of course, you have a main application where you just combine all the others
Mm.
applications on this. And I would suggest, there's a lot of more to talk about that, to be honest. But I would suggest to go on YouTube and just type Manfred Steyer
Yeah.
and Manfred Steyer monorepos, and you find like 1,000 talks of him exactly on this topic. And I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure you will then get a feeling what I meant when I said monorepos. And I guess it really helps you. And yes, Lars, right now I just saw him,
Yeah.
the Model Federation as well, and Manfred
Yeah.
also
Exactly.
did a talk on that. So I would really suggest you to because just talking about Model Federation, I guess, would take like 5 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I really suggest you to just go to his talk, and he really explains it really, really calmly and really, really good.
Agreed. Agreed to that.
If
Yeah.
this was
So
the last question, I just would like to say one thing more regarding some obstacles
Mhm.
of being a freelancer.
Yeah.
So the thing, like the main concerns of being a freelancer, what you always have to keep in your mind is that if you're sick, if you are on vacation, you don't get money. You are working on your own, and there's
Mhm.
no backup thing you think that would give you money if you're sick.
Yeah.
So always keep this in mind if you calculate your, as I said, your amount per hour, what you asked for the customer. And also, in the beginning, like the first 6 or 7 months, I'm now a freelancer, I completely ignored the fact that you need to draw a strict line between private and your freelancing position, because you're working remotely, you're working from home, and out of the
Mhm.
sudden you're just sitting, you start your day, you go in front of the PC like at 8 a.m. in the morning, and then out of the sudden it's 11 p.m. and you didn't do anything on the day except for just sitting in front of your computer. So never
Mhm.
forget to just draw this line. And I just worked on the weekend as well, because I mean, I love my job, I love developing, and
Mhm.
but you really, I would not say burning out, because it makes fun and you still have other things to do. But like for me, for example, I took now a completely 1 month break from everything except of working, basically. But I really like cut it everything else actually, because I really needed it. So
Mhm.
I would like to give you the advice that don't do my mistake. Just from the beginning on, just focusing on one thing, drive on one boat, what Santos just and really have a strict line between private life and your working life. I just wanted
Mhm.
to add this because it's so important, because it happened to me right now. And
Yeah, I agree to that. I mean, of course, I think Okay, so Amandeep has a question related to which are your favorite open source projects. Please share your experience with contributing to open source and getting open source opportunities. So, I mean, if there is something which happened to you, you can share.
I mean, I guess as I'm an Angular developer, my favorite open source project is of course the Angular repo. But there's also like open source project which I really like to contribute. It's called Front and Social. It's written in Vue, and there's like a tool like for online conferences, and it includes Jitsi and things like that. Like mainly like a tool, open source tool like Zoom, but just open source, and you can just develop any other features into it you like to. And it's like a social platform as well. These are two open source projects I really like and really like to contribute even into it more. And of getting open source opportunities, I know that, for example, the Angular team has some talks and blog posts regarding how to getting into open source into Angular as well. And if not, you always can ask Santosh because he did already a lot of open source contributions into Angular as well.
Yeah. I mean, of course. So Angular also has something known as collaborator program. So if you are
Yeah.
contributing frequently, you can also get an opportunity to work with Angular team. So
Yeah.
they have weekly meetings, and then you can be part of that meeting, and you can contribute to some feature whichever is discussed in the call. So that's one thing to do. But of course, remember that it's not something which is where you are getting paid. So I mean, of course, if you're looking for some paid opportunities into get open source, I think that's different. Then you have to look for some organizations like maybe you have Next.js, which is an organization itself where you can Next.js, sorry, not Next.js, Next.js, or maybe Gatsby, which are the organization, right? So if you contribute more to them, maybe if they figure out that you are really good at it, maybe they can hire you as a full-time developer, and then you can be part of team and you can
Yeah,
do open source as well as earn the money. So
that's also true. Yes.
yeah. Okay. And of course, as Lars said it, right, Docs is always a nice open source beginner opportunity. That's what I do for Angular, and yeah. So that's it. Okay, Martina. So I think we are almost done. So anything you want to like promote? For example, blog post, maybe your YouTube channels, anything.
Me personally, I started a YouTube channel with a friend of mine. It's called
Mm-hmm.
Pair Angular. We took
Okay.
a break as well because of me, but like we are developing together with a friend of mine, Siddharth, and we
Mm-hmm.
are developing like right now like a Firebase Angular applications together, and and we're just like pair programming, like also like live streaming on YouTube. As I really like to promote two podcasts that's like as I'm an Angular girl, somehow of course I like to share the Angular Show. It's a podcast from the ngConf team. It's about Angular topics, of course, and also new upcoming podcasts. It's the Deep Dive Dev with a lot of awesome topics, all regarding development, and the correlating blog, of course, in depth. So many great persons are writing and sharing their knowledge on this blog, in depth.dev, about Angular, about React, about TypeScript, basically about anything. Like it's really high quality content what you can find there. And Santosh is also a writer on that, and Lars, of course, as well.
Yeah. So Lars is saying you both look great today. Maybe I just had a sleep, so maybe.
Yeah.
So I just took a like 1 hour nap before coming to this room. So maybe that's why. Okay. So yeah, Martina. So I think that's done. Anything you want to add apart from your blog post or something? Maybe you want to just share something with the community.
Yeah, just like always keep in mind that everyone started from a beginner level and everyone just was so scared. And I'm still scared. I'm still scared actually. And I'm definitely far away of being an expert or a pro. So just just be curious, ask always question, and don't be afraid to admit that you maybe did a mistake, or that you're afraid that you don't know anything, because no one knows everything, and there are too
Yeah.
many people who pretend to just pretending that they know something, but they also don't. So just ask question and stay foolish and be curious.
Yeah, I of course agree to that. So whenever I have question, I have a lot of people around me to ask questions. So for example, if I get stuck in RxJS, I just
Mm,
call Serkan, dude, I need help, and then he just comes onto the
yes.
call, and then we get it sorted. And of course, in depth, we have a lot
Yeah.
of experts. You can always use the community page in case you have any questions. You can always use our community page and then ask questions there as well. On everyone is available on Twitter. I just shared the Twitter handle of Martina. You can just connect with her in case you have any question related to Angular or maybe freelancing, and then of course she'll be there to help you. Yeah. So I mean, Martina, thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you
So
so
it was
much.
really a great show. I mean, I think we
Yes.
got all the questions covered, even the offline question as well as the online questions, and I'm sure this is one of the favorite topic of a lot of developers. Even I wanted to move into freelancing, and but of course, I mean, I'm still thinking about it, and then after this talk, I will think about it more. But I'll keep you posted, anyways.
Yeah.
So. I'm sure you will receive a lot of question offline as well. So
Yeah.
see you around. Yeah, and
Yeah.
have a great day and have a great weekend, everyone.
Yeah.
So tomorrow is Saturday, so enjoy your weekend.
Yes. Have a great weekend, and thank you so much, Santosh. It was great. I really loved it.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Martina. So bye bye, everyone.
Bye bye.